Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Welcome to online classes. This is B. Sharmila, Biological Science CRT, KGBV, Nalacheru, Anantapur district. Good morning children. Today we are going to discuss reproduction. First of all, what is reproduction? Reproduction is the process of production of new organisms from parental organisms. Reproduction means to reproduce new organism. We are familiar with the word reproduction, which means giving birth to new ones. All living organisms reproduce for the survival of their species, and it is to maintain the ecological balance in nature. Although the mode of reproduction and giving birth certainly differs, some animals lay eggs, some give birth to offspring directly. Based on this process, animals are classified into viviparous and oviparous animals. Viviparous animals. The animals that give birth to their offspring are called viviparous animals. The animals have epidermal hair on their skin and have external ears. Some viviparous are mammals. Mammals are viviparous animals that give milk to their offspring and take care of their young ones' growth. And then oviparous animals. That means the animals that lay eggs are called oviparous. Unlike viviparous animals, these animals do not have hair or external ears. For example, snakes. And then we will move to modes of reproduction. Reproduction happens in two ways, sexually and asexually. We already know that some plants like potato, bryophyllum, etc. reproduce asexually. But some plants reproduce sexually and animals reproduce asexually too. And then asexual reproduction. Some plants, even without the formation of gametes, produce offspring just like them. As there is no formation of gametes at all, fusion does not take place, such a mode is terminated as asexual reproduction. Most of asexually reproducing animals are microorganisms. For example, budding in Hydra, paramecium, binary fusion in Amoeba, etc. Asexual reproduction. Then we will discuss budding in Hydra. Hydra is a microscopic organism reproduced asexually. In each Hydra, there may be one or more bulges called buds. In Hydra, also we see budding where new individuals develop from the buds. This type of asexual reproduction is called budding. And the buds develops new Hydra, they live individually. And then budding in Amoeba. Let us study this process in another microorganisms called amoeba, which lives in fresh water. Its body is made up of a single cell and hence called unicellular organism. After the nucleus gets matured, it starts dividing. After the completion division of the nucleus, the body of amoeba divides into two. Thus, a single parent forms two daughter amoeba. Thus, the parent becomes non-existent. This type of asexual reproduction, in which an animal reproduces by dividing into two individuals, is called binary fission. Sexual reproduction. In sexually reproduce, the fusion of male and female gametes take place. In plants, the pollen grains reproduce the stigma and fishes ovary. In animals, the male reproductive cell for sperm fuses with the female reproductive cell ovum. The result is a formation of zygote, and the formation of zygote is very essential to give offspring. Then, male reproductive system. Both male and female play an important role in reproduction. The male contributes the male reproductive cell. The male reproductive organs are situated just above the abdomen and include a pair of testes, seminal ducts, and a penis. The egg-shaped testes produce the male gametes called sperm. The sperm travels through seminal ducts and reaches the penis. Sperms are a microscopic single-celled cells, and each of them has a head, middle, body, and a tail. The head has a nucleus consisting of mitochondria to obtain energy. Tail helps in mobility of the sperm. Female reproductive system. The female reproductive organs are present inside the abdomen, containing a pair of ovaries, oviducts, and uterus. Ovaries lie inside the abdomen in the hip region on each side of uterus. In human, is a single matured egg is released into oviduct every month. Uterus is the place where the development of baby takes place. In the first step, fusion of sperm and ovum takes place. During the fertilization, the nuclei of sperm and the ovum fuses to form a single nucleus, which results in the formation of a fertilized egg or zygote. Then, internal fertilization. Animals which internal fertilization takes place have an arrangement in such a way that the sperm enters into the body of a female. This type of fertilization occurs in insects, snakes, lizards, and birds, and mammals, etc. Development of an embryo. Fertilization results in the formation of a zygote which divides repeatedly to give birth rise to a ball of cells. The cells that begin the form of a group of that develop into different tissue and organs in the body. This developing structure is called embryo. This developing structure is called embryo. This gets embedded in the wall of uterus for future development. As the embryo develops, it gets its parts and organs, and when it is fully developed is called fetus. The period from zygote to fully developed fetus is called pregnancy. Development of embryo. External fertilization. When fertilization takes place outside the body, it's called external fertilization. The fusion of gametes, formation of zygote, and development of embryo all take place outside the body only. A process called metamorphosis occurs, which means the transformation of shape of the body occurs during development over a period of time before they resemble their parents. Some fish and frogs undergo this type of fertilization. Then we will discuss sexual reproduction in plants. Flowers are the most beautiful part of the plant. Flowers are the reproductive part of the plant. In the flower, stamen is male reproductive part and a carpel is female reproductive part. In the flower, stamen is male reproductive part and the carpel is female reproductive part. Some flowers contains both male and female reproductive part. Such flowers called bisexual flowers. For example, pea and China rose. On the other hand, some flowers possess either the male or female reproductive parts. Such flowers are called unisexual flowers. For example, corn, cucumber, etc. Now, let us know about different parts of the stamen and carpel. A stamen is made up of two parts. There are anther, filament. The anther produces pollen grains. These contain the male gametes. The carpel is made up of three parts. The upper part is stigma, middle elongated part is style, and the lower part is called ovary. This ovary contains number of ovules. These are also called female gametophyte. For sexual reproduction take place, the male gamete with fusion of female gamete, the form of zygote. The transfer of a male gamete from stamen to stigma of the same or the other flower is called pollination. This pollination takes place in same flower is called self-pollination. And also pollination takes place between two flowers is called cross-pollination. Different agents help for pollination like wind, water and animals. Once pollen grain reaches the stigma, it grows to pollen tube. This pollen tube reaches to ovary. The male gamete in this tube reaches to female gamete present in ovule. The male and female gamete fusion to each other and form a zygote. This process is called fertilization. After fertilization, the zygote develops some seeds, and after that the seeds of the fruit develop and the remaining parts are fallen on. After conditional situations, the seeds germinates and produce baby plant. Thanks to one and all. The last one.